I'm now ready to import the meteorological data file into the toolbox, and I am going to begin by clicking on the Import Text File button. This is step B. Remember that step A was completed outside of the toolbox, and that's where I got the data file ready for importing into the toolbox. These first two yellow areas are just information about the toolbox, and they're considered labels and not buttons. So I click on the Import Text File button and see what happens. So I get this message that says this button will only work if your data file is a comma delimited text file with field names. And I know that that's true because I worked on getting that ready in Module 5. So I click on OK. And then I get this import successful message box, which is what I want to see. So I click OK on that. And now the data have been imported into the temporary data import table, which is the first table in the series of tables. So the next step is to look at the data in the temporary data import table. And I do that by clicking on the Inspect Data Import Table button, which is letter C. So here is how the data look. And you'll notice that they don't look much different than they did in the new import.txt file. The new import.txt file and the data import table are very similar. I need to verify that the import was successful, and to do that I need to scroll through the data and make sure I don't see anything funny like blank rows or perhaps characters or symbols in my data. So I'll do that, and everything looks pretty good. I don't see anything strange. And now the other thing I need to do is verify that the number of records that are in the table data import are the same as the number of records that were in my new import.txt file. And I do this by looking at my database logbook because I log everything in there, and it says that there's a total of 336 records. So in the data import table, if I look on the left hand side of the screen, I can see the number of records in the table. So it says there's 336 records in the table, and that matches what is in my database logbook. So I've now verified that this import was successful, and I can close the query by clicking on the lower X on the top right corner of the screen. If you click on the upper X, it closes the entire database rather than just the query. And if you do that, it's okay, don't freak out. You could just go back through the forms and get to this spot. So I'm going to close by clicking on the lower X button, and that takes me back to the data import form. And now that I've done everything I need to do on this form, I can click on the Continue to Transfer to Verification Table form button, and that will close this form and take me to the middle form in the series where I transfer my data from the data import table to the data verification table. So I click on that button to open this form.